Hi, my name is Justin Johnston. I'm a commercial real estate broker in the state of Utah. I've sold and leased commercial properties for the last 27 years in Salt Lake and Utah counties. Today, I was going to actually ask, I've had several people ask me, hey, what was it like getting started in the business? Of course, they see what I've been doing in the last 10, 15 years. It looks to them like it's a success, right? Hey, that looks easy. I got in this business. I was going to school. I was going to become an accountant. And over one of the Christmas breaks, I thought, hey, I'm going to take my license. A friend of mine, a contractor, had encouraged me to do it. I was doing some side work for him and running a carpet cleaning company that I would do late hours and after hours. And had just gotten married, going through school, take the license, go to work for a really successful real estate agent in the Valley that was doing residential real estate, and she was going to bring me on to do commercials. So from day one, I thought, hey, I'm going to go sell and lease office and industrial buildings and do that type of thing. So I went to work with her, had a really tough time starting out. I was 25 years old, ended up getting cancer in my leg. Just got things going, and that took a long recovery. I was in bed for about a month, and I felt like just everything that I'd worked up for that first year was just out from underneath me. You know, that I was starting over. I wasn't doing well mentally, emotionally. Going to school still at that time too, and it was just too much. So I actually had to make a choice. I dropped out of school, thought, hey, I'll come back in a couple years. Or whenever I can get back on my feet. So I'm at this position, it's like, okay, so I get refocused, I get an opportunity to go work. So every day that I get up, it's the same thing. There's two guys in town that are doing commercial real estate. And the Utah County market is a sub-market of Salt Lake. And so either the guys from Salt Lake had established clients down here, or the two guys that were down in Utah County were 40-year-old in the business veterans that knew everybody. And I would just go work my tail off, and I'd get up to the, signing listings or getting ready to represent somebody, and they'd be like, Jim Clark, I'm going to go with Jim. I've known Jim for a lot of years. And it was tough. I just barely bought a new condo, moved in, had a baby that was on the way, and I'm like, man, I'm struggling every day. It is just pounding the pavement, and then at the very end of it, having it taken away. And by the grace of God, did I actually end up getting a couple deals done to pay the bills. But went over to another company that was doing commercial real estate. It was actually, Don Blackwelder, Jim Clark were working at the same company. It was Clark Commercial. Don left Clark Commercial, went over to Prudential Commercial that they just started. I went over to that company. I couldn't get hired on with him. He didn't want to hire me. So I still went to the brokerage. I'm working, I'm watching, I'm trying to shadow him, but I'm not close enough. And I'm about the point that I want to give up, or try something else. Maybe I'll go back to school and get my degree. At that time, it's about a year after my cancer incident on my leg and stuff. And then there was an opportunity that came up right before Thanksgiving. So this would have been Thanksgiving 1997. And I got talking to Don Blackwelder, who I call my mentor. He said, hey, listen, my assistant just left. If you're wanting to come work for me, with me, shadow me, why don't you show up Thursday morning? Of course, that's Thanksgiving. And we'll get to work 3 o'clock in the morning. By 11 o'clock, when our families are all getting up and getting ready to go do something, we will have already had 8 hours. Cranked out a day's worth of work, and we can go home and have a great Thanksgiving. Don't come in Friday. So I think it was a test. Later on, he was kind of joked, said, no, if you wouldn't have came in on Thanksgiving, I wouldn't have not had you come on with me. But I'm not sure that's true. I had no track record, except for, I guess he could tell that I really was trying to work hard, and he knew that he'd beat me on about 20 transactions and that I was in contention. Maybe he knew that, maybe he didn't. The point is, I showed up at 3 o'clock. I was there before him when he pulled up in the parking lot. And of course, telling that to my wife, she's like, really? 3 o'clock in the morning, Thanksgiving? You better be back by 11. We got to go over and the family events and all that stuff. And of course, I just had a new daughter, and hey, everything was really stressful. It was a really stressful time. So I hear people talk about this. I see young individuals in this business. And I'm like, man, I've been there. I've done it. 100% commission is not easy. So anyway, ended up having a relationship that we ended up working together. That same gentleman who taught me everything about this business, which is in part why I'm doing this. Anybody can do this. There was nothing special about me. I had a burning desire and a lot of grit to make it happen. But you can even tell the way I speak now. There's nothing special about me or what I've got. I don't have super intelligence, but I've had a great career. And I've had that because a guy opened a door. And sometimes old guys, their tongues like to wag a little bit and talk about what they're doing, but he was hands-on. He showed me what to do. He taught me everything about it. Not only did he do that, and once I was on my feet, there's several agents in the Valley that are still some of the most successful agents that are out there to this day. He took them under his wing as well. And so there was a period of about 4 or 5 years that we got to all work together. Jason Dodge, Jared Hunt, Bill Took, he wasn't such a youngster, but he was part of that from the very beginning as well. And I shout out those guys' names, and there's probably a few, there's several I'm missing. But at the end of the day, those are the guys Dan Donaldson, I've got to say that because he was actually the next guy that was hired on before those other guys. But they've been hugely successful. Fast forward, in 2 months, it'll be 28 years in this business. I love this business. I tell that just because that's my story, and that's what it is. And I think, the truth is, every morning I get up, I'm unemployed. 27 years ago, no different than it is today. If I want to be successful, I have to go out and get it. It's competitive out there. I love this business. I'd love to have anybody that's interested to learn, because that's where I'm at in this career point right now, is I'd like to take a couple people under my wing. I'd like to get a whole office and teach somebody a life-changing skill and trade of being a commercial real estate broker. And it'll change their life, it'll change your life. And you can keep following the things that we're doing here. Hopefully we'll shed enough light that'll give you inspiration and motivation to be successful yourself on your own terms. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll update in the future.